thank you all for taking the time to join today's session. Yeah, my name is Satish Jipster, and I'm a security consultant. I also have a meetup group automating security and compliance across multi-cloud platform. So here's the agenda. We'll be talking about how to automate security and compliance, primarily around AWS, and we'll look at some of the services that could be used towards automating security and compliance. So here are some of the top security challenges. I think we all know this, like data security breaches, insufficient. I want to highlight a few so that we can see how automation and continuous compliance and automation helps with all of these security challenges. That was cloud security threats, top 10 cloud security threats, and this is primarily around AWS security, what the security challenges are. I think, if you work on the network data or the web applications, you might be familiar with some of these security challenges. So with respect to cloud security, here are the two benefits that we will see after automating some of the cloud security, after automating cloud security and compliance. So I've highlighted some of these on how to quickly identify some of these issues and help towards remediating those. Why automate security and compliance? The amount of events alerts come in from all the monitoring tools and the compliance tools. How do you make meaningful information out of it and take automated action? So that's where automating comes into play. And also it helps with the continuous assessment and compliance needs. And some of you attended the previous session, SOC 2 audit. So SOC, with respect to compliance, how do you generate reports and produce to the auditors? Yeah, in proving that, how do you meet up with some of the compliance needs? So then, in this section, we'll look at some of the security services that are used towards automating security and compliance. Here are some of the security services across, all these different categories or building blocks within security. And, the ones that are highlighted are the services that, that could be used towards automating. So I've identified those on the left-hand side, AWS services that could be used for automating security and compliance. Security Hub. How many of you have enabled Security Hub? Okay. So, this is where you can find all the consolidated, information from all the services that could be used towards assessing your security posture. Here's a high-level picture where, you have all the findings and from third-party tools and correlated, and then you can use it towards remediation using Lambda and other third-party tools. And here are some of the other services that was listed in previous screen, Amazon Detective and Audit Manager. Security Hub, this is what it does. I'm sure you can learn more about it and enable it. Top 7 ways to operationalize AWS Security Hub. So all the events that you get, you can feed it in the Jira to keep track of what, action needs to be taken and assign it to respective team for them to correlate and resolve. And then you can also find ways to automate and remediate those issues. Security Lake, this is a new service where you can, you can store all your security related data into this lake, data lake. It's stored within S3, even from the third party security service providers. And you can also pay to SageMaker to be able to take a guard duty. I don't know how many of you use guard duty. Do okay. So this is an AI ML based solution that you could use to identify anomaly and model threats, and you can use that information to initiate automated responses. Here's a high-level picture of all the sources for the data sources for guard duty, and then it uses AI/ML to produce meaningful information and feed it into Security Hub or CloudWatch to be able to take automated action. We won't go deep into all of these services. Whichever makes sense for your use cases, you can enable those and make use of it. Here's an example of guard duty on how you can detect and investigate and then take automated action towards remediating them. Control tower. This is a service that you can use to quickly set up the well-architected framework in less than 30 minutes. And you can use it to also enforce best practices and standards and regulatory requirements with pre-configured controls. Here's an example of how AWS Control Tower fits into other services. Amazon Mazy, it's a data protection service, and primarily it analyzes all the data that you have and that is stored in S3 to automatically evaluate against security threats and controls. Here's where you can, based on the security alerts, you can feed those sent to Amazon Event Bridge and Security Hub for automated remediation and workflow integration. And here is where it stores all the policy findings and sensitive information. And AWS config, in the previous session, he talked about, having AWS centralized repository to identify all the changes that are going within the infrastructure, to continuously assess, monitor, and record configuration changes. Anybody use AWS config? Config it all? Somewhat. This service is used towards continuous compliance. Traditional compliance, it's time consuming. How you can use AWS config for compliance code. How AWS config is, the rules are configured to automate compliance. AWS WAF, I'm sure you use all this service on CloudFront and load balancer. All the rules configured here. Again, it sends events to stored in S3 bucket, and then you can use Lambda to be able to take automated action, and the events are sent to CloudWatch. This is a new service used to quickly identify the root cause of potential security issues. Again, it's integrated with AWS Security Hub and Guard Duty. You can use this to primarily, to quickly pinpoint the root cause of an event or an alert. AWS Artifact you can use to assess your security posture, security and compliance posture, and you can find auditor-issued reports, certifications, and other third-party attestations in here. You can download reports, access third-party compliance reports. AWS Audit Manager, you can use Audit Manager to map your controls with pre-built and custom frameworks. Primarily used to conduct automated evidence collection and use it towards audit support. AWS Firewall Manager, I mean, the centralized place where you can configure all the rules and alerts. Well-architected framework, we all know that it's applied across all these frameworks. And I have listed some resources here and documents and white papers. Each of them has a link. I'll provide this to John, and he'll send it over and share it with someone, share it with everyone. Each one is a link to all the topics mentioned here. And I want to highlight this one. This is one of the latest labs that you can use, Security Automation Lab. That one, the Security Hub. And here are some more links. Each one is, again, a link that will take you to that particular resource or blog. That's pretty much it in less than 10, 15 minutes. Thank you for taking the time.